I'm Jan.
And I'm Tracy.
And we are on the last day of our MSC Preziosa's cruise of the Baltic Sea and the Norwegian fjords.
So how have we liked MSC?
Well, stick around and find out.
So here's the bottom line. We have loved our experience on MSC.
But we also realize that MSC may not be for everyone, but we'll explain that in a little bit later. For now, what we're going to do is we're going to give you our impressions of the cruise on focusing on just a few categories.
We'll be looking at the ship, our cabin, the service, the yacht club, the food, the entertainment, the spa and the gym, and MSC excursions.
Now first, the ship overall is very nice. Now we've already given you a tour of the ship, but bottom line is we love this ship.
Unlike some ships that we have been on, which seem to be a maze to get from one place to another, the MSC Preziosa is easy to navigate. Once you realize that you can access a ship by decks 7, 14, and 15.
The public spaces also are really nice and inviting.
We especially love the atrium area.
Yeah, I love the atrium area. There's also a lot of different areas that you can sit by and have a nice windows. You can just watch the ocean and the world go by, which is really nice. Now, beyond the ship's design, the crew have done an extraordinary job of keeping the ship in incredible great shape.
You will always find the crew cleaning up or touching up things while on board.
Now, the result is that this is a ship that looks like it came out of dry dock as opposed to one that's getting ready to go into dry dock.
We also enjoyed our cabin. It's not the largest cabin we've had, but it is large enough and it's comfortable.
Yeah, and I like the walk-in closet, but I would have liked to have more drawer space for other clothes.
Unfortunately, the bathroom was a little small, and we would much rather would have had a shower instead of having a shower tub.
Now, from our research, though, when we were looking at MSC, we had already done our research, and we had an idea of what the ship and the cabin were going to be like.
What we were most worried about was the service.
And I'll tell you, from our experience of working with MSC's customer service at home, on the phone, and the website, we were terrified about what to expect.
However, we were very pleased to find that the service was consistently good across the entire ship.
And we heard people explain that MSC's service was more reserved than what you might find on an American cruise line like Norwegian or Carnival, but quite frankly, that was not our experience.
We were greeted by nearly every crew member that we passed by, including the maintenance people who were always hard at work. The one thing that we did notice is that while everyone seemed eager to serve us, sometimes they struggled to anticipate needs.
But we are reminded that so many of the staff are brand new or they have just returned to the cruise line in the past year and just haven't developed a great deal of experience in how they should provide their service. They're incredibly eager to serve you, but they just need a little bit more experience.
We noticed the same issue during our Viking River cruise early this year. Everybody wanted to help us out, but it seemed like they were a little bit off in their execution.
Yeah. Now, speaking of service, we must talk about the Yacht Club.
We love the Yacht Club. The Yacht Club is MSC's exclusive ship-in-the-ship concept, much like it is seen on the Norwegian's Haven.
Yeah, and we've actually sailed in the Haven several times before, but I'll be honest, for our money, the Yacht Club is better than Norwegian's Haven.
Here's a service, the service was absolutely first rate. For example, there was our butler, Doris.
Doris was absolutely fantastic. Now, we've had butlers a few times before, but they're mostly glorified room stewards. That's not the case here. Now, if you look at Cruise Critic, one of the most often asked questions is, how do you use your butler? But quite frankly, we did not have to worry about that with our butler, Doris, who quite frankly took the initiative to always try and find ways to be able to serve us. We didn't have to go to him for anything. He really just wanted to serve us.
This level of service was also extended in the Top Sail Lounge. This is where the staff were simply exceptional.
Yeah, it's also one of the reasons why the Top Sail Lounge was one of the spaces we probably spent most time on in the 3 weeks we were here on the ship.
The wraparound windows that gave us spectacular views of the ocean ahead of us didn't hurt much either.
Yeah, they're nice. All right. Now, then if we go up on the 18th deck of the Yacht Club, we have what they call the one pool and the one bar. This is another great area to be able to relax, whether it's being in one of the two hot tubs, getting some sun in the lounges, or getting a drink or a lunch, sometimes really good lunches at the bar.
Now, it sounds bad, but we did enjoy the special treatment that we received on this cruise. This also included being escorted to the head of the line, getting to and from the ship, getting back from excursions, getting to excursions, and having a reserved area in the theater, and the concierge taking care of all of our needs for us.
Yeah, they really make you feel special. Now, the Yacht Club also has a restaurant, which is nice, but unfortunately it's not actually located in the Yacht Club area. It's all the way in the back of the ship on the 14th deck.
So like Jan mentioned, there is a ship concept restaurant that is exclusive to the Yacht Club. It's called the La Palmerie. It's on the 15 aft, and we were in the 15 forward. We ate there pretty much every night that we were here, but we also ate a few times at the buffet. We also tried both of the specialty restaurants on board, and one night we actually did go to the Golden Lobster, which is the main dining room for the cruise.
Yeah, now overall the food was okay. We didn't have a single bad meal. It was all good, but with just a few exceptions, we really weren't wowed by the food.
Now, one of those exceptions was the pizza. MSC is an Italian cruise line. They do pizza right. You can get pizza from the buffet, which was very good, but the best pizza was actually from the specialty restaurant, La Locanda Pizzeria. Now, technically, La Locanda as a specialty restaurant incurs an extra charge for non-Yacht Club passengers. However, being in the Yacht Club, you get free room service, and the room service pizza was from La Locanda.
Yeah, so it was free and it's awesome pizza.
We also found that the two specialty restaurants were okay. One of them was a sushi place called the Galaxy Restaurant, and one was the Butcher's Cut, which was a steak restaurant. I'm not sure I would have spent the extra money to pay for these specialty dinings on this cruise. However, we were Diamond Club members, and so we did get a specialty restaurant per each cruise that we went on.
Yeah, so I mean, it was good. It was just probably not worth the extra surcharge. Now, the meals that did blow us away, ironically, actually were never on the menu. The chef in the Yacht Club's restaurant knew that we and another American couple that we met here were doing the back-and-back, and he was concerned that, well, the menu changes, but it would be the same menu the second cruise. So he actually volunteered to cook Indian cuisine for us a few times, and that was fantastic.
As the chef was from Goa, India, the meals were very, very, very good.
Yeah, it's very good. I mean, that was probably the best Indian that I've had. I've had a lot, but yeah, it was very, very good.
Now, this might be a good point to talk about the drink package. By being in the Yacht Club, we automatically received the premium drink package as part of our fare.
This package covered all of our coffees, our juices, and alcoholic drinks, and there isn't a limited to the number of drinks that you can consume like you can when you are on Carnival or other mainstream ships. However, what we did notice was people don't go on these cruises to get drunk. Seemed that people were very moderated in how they approached drinking alcohol while they were by the pool and while they were on the ship.
Yeah, MSC, what we found from at least here in Europe, it's not a party barge at all, which we kind of like. Now, while the premium drink package only covered drinks up to, I think it's like $15 or $13, we really didn't find this to be much of a problem. We could get any of the drinks we really wanted on that package. However, if you do want to buy a drink that's not on the package, one thing to keep in mind is that you don't simply pay the difference like you do like with Norwegian. You actually have to pay the entire cost of the drink, whether you have a drink package or not.
So another area for some cruisers is the entertainment on board. If you've done any research on MSC, you probably already have been warned that MSC doesn't offer the Broadway type spectacles that you have on American-based cruise lines like Norwegian and Carnival.
Yeah, instead the evening entertainment in the theater is largely kind of a song and dance variety. It's fine, but I'll be honest, it's nothing really special. It is entertaining though.
In the lounges, you will also find musicians playing who are pretty good. In fact, we probably spent more time on this ship listening to the acts in the bars and the lounges that we have in all of our other cruises that we've taken combined. Two things that come to mind is they had a cover band that played Pink Floyd, and the gentleman also played Depeche Mode. So being someone from the 80s, I very much appreciated it. Again, it was well received within the bar, and it was almost hard to get a seat there.
Yeah, and actually this is in the atrium, which was a really nice area. Okay, now as far as other entertainment, there's the water slides that are on board that look fun, but I'll be honest, I mean, we literally went north of the Arctic Circle, so the temperatures really, not really the best time to go on a water slide, so we did not give them a try. In fact, I don't think we actually saw anyone actually ever go down the water slides.
And while we did not brave the water slides, we did take advantage of other entertainment on board, like the F1 simulator, bowling, and the 4D simulator experience.
Yeah, these are all fun. However, here's a tip. If you want to do these activities, bowling or the F1 simulator, do not pay for each of these separately, as it is exceptionally expensive. For example, to bowl one game is $7, and for them, the game is only 5 frames. 10 throws down, and that's $7 or €7 that's just gone. That is stupid expensive.
Likewise, the F1 simulator cost around $11 to drive. That was for about 3 minutes. Again, I think that would be way too expensive.
Yeah, however, here's what you want to do. MSC sells what they call the Fun Pass. It gives you unlimited bowling, unlimited driving in the F1 simulator, and all the 4D experiences you want to go to, and the cost is just $112, and that covers you for the entire cruise. What is even better is that is a price not per person, but for the cabin. So for $112, everyone in your cabin can do all of this as much as they want for the entire cruise, which is a really good deal.
So if you're sailing with kids, this is a no-brainer, and especially I would find that would be the case, especially on the sea days, which we had 3 or 4 throughout our time cruising. And so, by the way, Jan, who was the best bowler?
You were, dear. But let's change the subject. Let's talk about the spa. Everyone in the Yacht Club and the Aria experience gets a complimentary access to the thermal spa area, which is the only spa treatment we took advantage on this trip. Now, there are several saunas and steam rooms, and those were fine. We were kind of disappointed there wasn't a jacuzzi. We always kind of like going from a jacuzzi to the saunas and to the steam rooms. And then there's the tholastic loungers. They do have them, but there's only 4 of these tholastic loungers, which seems to be far, far too few for a ship that can hold almost 4,000 different passengers.
Not only that, but while we were in the spa, it does have a cold room, a snow room, which I love to do after I do a sauna. Unfortunately, it was inoperable for the entirety of both of our cruises. The other thing is well, the gym was large and it had a lot of cardio equipment. At one point, at least half of the treadmills were out of service at any given time on both cruises that we sailed on back to back.
Yeah, and this is really kind of surprising. I mean, for a ship that is so well maintained, so well in every other aspect, quite frankly, I don't know why these things weren't fixed sometime during the 3 weeks we were on board.
So, the last category we will talk about is MSC excursions. For the most part, we enjoyed the excursions which we did with MSC. In fact, Visby and the Glacier Walk excursions were exceptional, although I think we could have done Visby on our own.
Yeah, it's just small enough that we could have done that. And unfortunately, the other excursion that kind of went awry was at North Cape. The weather impacted the time that we actually were able to get to North Cape, and then of course the weather complicated the time it took for the tenders to be able to go from the ship to the shore and then back. So as a result, we were literally hours later in this excursion than we were supposed to. So by the time we got to the overlook, which everyone goes to, you want to get that great photo op, it was pitch black and raining, and really, we could have had better weather. And I think that because I've seen pictures of it, if we had better weather and we had better timing, it really would have been an incredible excursion. It's just a fact that sometimes the weather doesn't cooperate with you.
And one thing I would like to also bring up about the excursions that just came to mind as we were talking about this was, even if you chose not to do an MSC paid excursion, I did like that they had the convenience of having a transfer bus. So sometimes you will come into a port and it may not be anywhere near the city center. So it might be 3 or 4 kilometers away. The convenience of having a transportation shuttle was nice, even if it was a little bit more expensive. One of the times we were supposed to go into Stockholm, we couldn't tender there because of bad weather, so we ended up going to another town a little bit further south. It was nice that they had arranged transfers there, and they actually had the hop-on, hop-off people there as well. So there were some opportunities with that.
Yeah.
Another challenge that comes to mind with MSC is that while customers of lines like Norwegian and Carnival, especially if you're on stateside cruising, they are nearly all English-speaking cruises, and that just is not the case with an international cruise line like MSC.
Yeah, for example, for the Baltics, there was only 7 Americans on board and 19 for the entire Norway trip. What this means for MSC is on their excursions, you always have to either have an interpreter or the guide has to translate for themselves. Usually, in our case, it was German and English. So those are our impressions of those categories of MSC. So the question becomes is MSC right for you? And the answer is especially if you're going to Europe, it may actually not be the right cruise line for you.
So as we've mentioned throughout this review, MSC is first and foremost, it's an Italian cruise line. It caters to Europeans, and it does have that European sense of how a cruise we think runs.
Yeah, and as we already mentioned, as Americans, we were a very small minority, and it wasn't just us. There was just a handful of British, Australians, and Canadians on board, so there really wasn't a lot of primary English speakers on board.
So what we'll say to you is if you're not okay with finding yourself surrounded by people who don't speak the same language as you or are normally not speaking in a language that is not English, then this line may not be the right one for you.
And for us, I mean, we really weren't worried about that. We've lived overseas several times, and we realized that, hey, listen, we're going to Europe. It shouldn't be shocking that we're going to be surrounded by a lot of Europeans. That kind of makes sense. We also didn't find that the ship's announcements, which are made in 5 different languages, we were surprised that it really wasn't as annoying as we heard it might be. The first language in all the announcements is always going to be English, and quite frankly, we just kind of sort of tuned out all the other languages after that. It really wasn't that big of a deal.
So, the second reason that MSC may not be right for you is the food. There was American-friendly fare on board. There were hot dogs, there were hamburgers, there was pizza, and that so much wasn't the issue, but sometimes the portion control might be a concern for people, especially in the main dining rooms.
Yeah, so while you can always still ask for seconds and thirds and you're going to get all the food you want, you're just not going to get served the huge portions that often you get on American cruise lines. However, we were on the ship for over 3 weeks, so we actually kind of appreciated this help in moderating the amount that we actually ate. So that's not a bad thing, really.
So the third reason why this might not be the right cruise line for you is the entertainment. Again, as we've noted before, it's an international cruise line with multiple languages being spoken, so they don't try and niche themselves into one type of entertainment. And again, that's not going to be an issue for you if your expectations are not looking for Broadway style reviews.
Yeah, but if one of the reasons why you go cruising is because you want to go to the shows, then again, it might not be the right one for you. We really don't cruise for the shows. We will occasionally take them, go to them, and we did this time, but really that doesn't really bother us, and we don't choose a cruise line based upon the entertainment. But are there things we didn't like?
Well, yes. So for me, the first thing that kind of comes to mind was we had mentioned before that they are so good about keeping up and maintaining the ship itself, except for when you got to places like the gym and the spa. So to me, it was you have 10 or 15 treadmills, and 7 or 8 of them were out of order at any given time. 5 or 6 ellipticals, 3 of them were out of service at any time. Not a big deal probably when you were in port, but on a sea day, when you really did say, oh yeah, this is going to be a good day to go exercise, or if it was too windy and you couldn't walk outside, that becomes problematic. So that was one thing I really didn't like about it. The second is we really like going to the spa. Even when we are not like in a yacht club type thing, we will buy a thermal pass if there is a good spa on board. The fact that it was included made it kind of a zero sum for us. The spa was too small. Again, this is a ship that's supposed to service 4,000 people. You have multiple sea days. You really can't enjoy yourself in the spa without feeling like it's time for you to get off the elastic lounger. The other thing is, as we'd mentioned before, was I love the polar snow rooms. They tout that on all of their videos, and it was broken for both of the cruises. Supply chain, I don't know. And the third thing is I'm not a smoker, but when you went down to the 7th floor, you had to go to the El Dorado Lounge, which is a beautiful lounge. But it was right above the casino, which is a smoking casino, and it's everywhere. You walk in there and you just smell it, and it kind of gets in your hair and gets in your clothes. That is a thing I don't know how you can fix that, because Smoking is a big thing in Europe, and it's a very big thing in casinos, and I don't know how you can get around.
And here's the irony, the casino actually didn't smell like smoke. Really, it didn't. I mean, they had filters and it was great. The problem with the El Dorado bar, the lounge, is it's right above and it's an open access. So we think of what happens is all the cigarette smoke comes up to the El Dorado. It doesn't have filters, and it was not necessarily good. There are some things we really liked about MSC.
The ship. The Preziosa is a beautiful ship. It's Italian design. It's over the top. It's tastefully done, but some people might think it's a little gaudy. I love the Swarovski staircases. They're silver in the Platinum Lounge, and when you get into the Yacht Club, they're kind of a gold and amber. There's beautiful floor-to-ceiling windows everywhere. In the aft lounges, in the restaurants, and just some regular sitting areas.
It's absolutely beautiful.
I mean, the ship is beautiful. It's well maintained. The second thing I would say would be the value. Just if you do the dollar cost averaging and kind of compare the Yacht Club experience to the Haven experience, I just think you get more bang for your buck on an MSC cruise.
For the price you pay here, I don't know if you're going to get this same type of a service or the same type of ship, everything you get. This really is a fantastic value. And the third thing is the Yacht Club. I love the Yacht Club. Unfortunately, not all MSC ships have a Yacht Club. But I'll tell you, anytime we go on MSC and they have one, we're going to go on the Yacht Club. As we said before, we have done Norwegian's Haven. It's nice, it's wonderful. I love it when we can be able to do that. But quite frankly, for the money, I think that the Yacht Club here is actually better than the Haven. So here's the big question is are we going to go on an MSC cruise again? And the answer is
yes.
Yes. In fact, in the next, say 9 months, we have already 120 nights booked that we're going to be on an MSC cruise. Now, we'll talk about why that is in a future episode, but if you want to go on those cruises and the other 5 cruises we have between now and December, okay, do me a favor, go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell. We'd love for you to come around the world with us. That should be a hint for you. All right, as always, keep on traveling.